Hello! So it is time for my weekly goals update. The first one was I wanted to work out 5 days a week, and I have done yoga and strength training and some flexibility 4 days. Then my other goal, it was for increasing creativity. I wanted to cut way back on social media and not use it at all between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. But I actually am changing that to just using it less. So I got to come up with what's the amount of time I will allow myself, because what I realized, if I use it before 8 a.m., then I kind of get distracted and it's hard for me to get stuff done that I need to get done before work. And it starts my day in a weird space. And if I use it after 8 p.m., I don't really sleep because then I'm just caught up in random scrolling. So I'm changing that goal to just less. But I got to come up with a number amount of what less entails. The other part of getting creative was trying a new hobby a month. So the two I picked were somatic yoga and photographing odd things I come across. So I'm also changing that one because I actually am not loving somatic yoga. I feel like it does less for me than just regular yoga. I am just not a huge fan. I will still be doing regular yoga, counting toward my workout, but I'm taking that off on, a hobby for the month. The other hobby with taking pictures of odd things, I realized that's not really one that you can track. So I'm still going to keep my mind out, open to coming across odd things and photographing them. But I want a hobby that I can more track and see how much I do it. And so I'm switching it to painting rocks because my mom brought all her rock painting stuff. She's in all those rock painting groups and all that stuff. And so I figure for the rest of the month, the next 3 weeks, I will do rock painting. So we'll see how that goes. My goal with boundaries didn't really come into play. Nothing came up where it did, but I actually was having a conversation with a friend of mine, which wasn't related to the boundaries thing at all. And he kind of called me out on one thing that I hadn't realized was a boundary issue. And we were discussing a situation that keeps coming up with this person. That I know I had said when I made my original video about the changes I want to make that I didn't have any toxic, drama-filled people in my life. And I didn't think about this person because I don't really consider her in my life. Every couple months message me wanting to get together, and I just kind of blow it off. And it was pointed out to me, and I think his exact words are, well, just tell her she's toxic, crazy, unstable, and you just don't want to have anything to deal with her, and tell her to move on. Which, when he said that, I was like, oh my God, this is actually a boundary issue. But like I said, I didn't really, think of it as a boundary, because when I think of boundaries, I think of things that are personally affecting me. And that doesn't really, because like I said, she'll only call me about once every couple months and say, oh, we should get together and, go for dinner or something. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll see what I can work out. I'm super busy. And then I forget about it for the next couple months. But when he said that, it occurred to me, one, it is a boundary thing, but two, it's actually not really fair to her. I mean, because she obviously doesn't get the hint because she thinks we are the best friends ever, to an unhealthy degree. So it's not really a favor to her to not just cut the ties. I'm obviously not going to say it the way he said it, but I got to work out exactly how I'm going to say it because, as I said, she is unstable with anger issues. So I probably won't, out of the blue, call her and bring it up, but I want to be prepared the next time she calls me wanting to get together, and I should have a good month before that happens again. But so that's where I am on that. The other stuff hasn't really come up as an issue with boundaries, the stuff that I was thinking about personally when I made that rule. So my no unnecessary spending goal, I have spent absolutely nothing unnecessary 4 out of the 7 days. The 2 out of the 7 days I did spend on something unnecessary, but it was a very small amount. I went and got a free coffee for my birthday, but I tipped, so it was $1.50 or $2 or whatever it was. So I spent that, and that was all I spent that day. And then I can't remember what, it was something else one day that was only, I think, $2 or $3. Oh, a drink. So I was tired when I left in a hurry, and I didn't bring my water bottle and stuff, so I ended up buying a drink and something to eat. That was just like a cheese stick. It wasn't a whole meal to get me through until, I got home. So I spent that. And then the other day I did spend quite a bit, but it was actually, I don't know if I consider it unnecessary or not. So it was stuff for the cookout, so I knew I was going to have to spend it, but technically that's unnecessary because I am not being forced to have a cookout. So I don't know on that one. I'm kind of on the fence whether that would qualify as unnecessary spending or not. The 2 things a month, I have not done anything yet. I had a bunch of stuff on the calendar, but a lot of stuff got crazy busy, just different stuff going on. But I do still have 3 weeks that I can get my 2 things in, and I have probably 5 things on the calendar, so it'll all work out. Actually, in fact, I think right now had something on the calendar I was supposed to be going to do, but there's a cookout for my cousin's son's graduation today, so I'm doing that instead. And I put no money into savings or paying off debt in the last week. My paycheck was very small because I had so much stuff going on. I didn't work as much as I usually do. So it pretty much just covered my expenses. And I think that's all my goals. Oh, no, the healthy eating, not eating junk food, not overeating. I aced 7 out of 7 days. So that was good. And especially because one of those days I was running on about 2 hours of sleep, and I have a very bad habit of eating when I'm really tired like that, really, really tired. It makes me feel like I'm starving all day long. And it was really hard that day not to grab a bunch of salty snacks, but I did it. So my first week of the goals process is working good. And I've got right now 10 days until I turn 50. So I've got a good start on June and a good start on turning 50. So I will see you in a little bit.